Good morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Bar Harbor, Maine. Today's verse is 1 John 3:9. No one who is born of God practices sin because his seed abides in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of God. Notice that he cannot sin if he is born of God. Before we get further in this, let me give my definition of sin so that we're on the same page. I see sin as anything that a human does out of their own efforts, devoid of God. And that can even be good deeds. There are plenty of non-Christians who will bandage up the wounded and give to the poor and do other wonderful good deeds. And yet, it's sin if they're doing it under their own efforts, without God's guidance, without his control. That is a sin. But the person who has fallen in love with Jesus so much that God can have anything in that believer's life that he wants, and that means the Spirit has full control, that person is born again. And because the Spirit is in him, as this verse says, because his seed abides in him, it says he cannot sin because he is born of God. He is crossed out of the realm of sin that the Bible often calls slavery to sin, where you have no choice but to sin as your normal habit, into the life of righteousness, where that is your normal habit. Because of your own efforts? Absolutely not. No, because of the Spirit working within you. Now, righteousness is the norm. It's the life. It's the realm. I like to use a metaphor where I say your life is a car and you are the driver, okay? And the Holy Spirit is right there in the road. And if you are an atheist, you'll just drive right on by, right? If you are an agnostic, you'll come up to the Holy Spirit who's standing in the road, roll down the window, maybe even listen to him. But then you'll drive off. However, there are those people who will roll down the window and listen to the Spirit and obey. And the Spirit says, I want you to take a left here, and you take a left. And the Spirit says, I don't want you to go in that parking lot, and you don't go in that parking lot. And you say, wow, that must make me a Christian because I'm listening to the Spirit and I'm obeying. Surely that makes me a Christian. Not quite. You might be in the process, but you're not there yet. You're not born again yet. The reason for that is the Spirit doesn't want to guide our lives from the outside. No, the Spirit wants us to scooch over so that he can be in the driver's seat and we can be in the passenger seat. He wants to be in full control of our lives and have us be fully submissive in that passenger seat. That's when we're truly born again. That's when we have crossed again from the realm of sin to the realm of righteousness. That's when we're born again, and that's when we are a true Christian. Now, once I've done that, can I still commit a sin? Well, sure. In that case, I'm reaching over and trying to take the wheel from the Holy Spirit, which I admit I do once in a while because I don't want to take a left, I want to take a right. And the Spirit has to gently guide me and say, this is dangerous, get your hands off the wheel. So it can happen that I can commit a sin, but it's no longer the habitual life of sin. Knowing that, I'm going to state that I do not believe a true Christian can lose his salvation. As it says here, he cannot sin because he is born of God. But the trouble is a lot of people who still have the Spirit outside, they're obeying, but they won't let the Spirit drive. They think they're Christians, but they're not. So this is where I think those people can lose the salvation they think they have, but it's not true salvation. As J. Vernon McGee once said, I believe in the security of believers, but I believe in the insecurity of make-believers. So let's make sure we love every moment, because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average Dredge, and I hope you have a great week.